Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Applied myself. I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Let me muted, y'all. They trying to shut me down. How everybody doing today? Everybody, welcome to another episode of RBO. It's your boy Vaughn. I am back with another episode for you guys, man. We are here to talk about some NBA, and I also got one WNBA topic that I'm going to talk about as well. Before we get started, though, like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that's an NBA fan, WNBA fan, just a basketball fan, because I'm really going to touch on a little bit of everything in many episodes. You feel me? You know, we got the NBA draft coming up after the whole playoffs and everything is over. WNBA really kicks in gear once the NBA season is over. So we're going to dive into that as well. But enjoy the show, man. But before we get started with the show, there's a link download to become a member with the R2L network. I want you guys to click that link, become a member. We have 3 different tiers that you can get on. It's from $2 to $10. So please definitely check that out. You get exclusive rights to these chats that we have on Instagram, where we have live debates, live content, live news, a little bit of everything from NBA to boxing, college, baseball, you name it, we got it. Definitely check that out. Also, down low, we have plenty of different shows on the R2L network, and they are all linked down low. Once again, from baseball to boxing to college, we have a little bit of everything for you guys here on this network, and everybody really knows their stuff. Most of the people that talk their shows, they play the sport that they talk about. So definitely check those guys out. Become a member. It also gives you a chance to get on this on anybody's show. If you want to speak your word, you got something to say, you want to talk about your team, talk about another team, talk about a player, talk about anything regarding that sport, you can hop on these shows if you're a member. So definitely lock that in. And we also have a special event coming up, especially if you're in the DMV area. It's called the R2L Day event. It would be in June. I believe it's a 2-day event, I believe, 20th and the 21st. I'm going to double check that for you guys. But I know for sure on the 21st, we're having an R2L basketball tournament. So if you want to see your boy drop some buckets, because that's what I'm going to do, definitely check that out as well. But without further ado, let's dive into these topics, man. Okay, for the first topic, we're going to talk about probably the most exciting, probably the most competitive series of the playoffs so far. And that's the Spurs versus the Thunder. Last game, the Spurs was able to tie the series up at 2-2, defeating the OKC Thunder with their defense. They really was a defensive battle, and I think that's what truly won the game for them. They won 103-82. Now, you hold a team to 82 points in this NBA, you definitely playing great defense. So shout out to the Spurs for being able to knot it up. You know, you hear a lot of rumblings. Every time Popovich comes into the locker room after they take an L, they come back strong. And this is what it looks like happening again. They said Popovich came in and, tore them apart for their last game performance, how they came out strong, 15 donut. Then they just gave up a lead and ultimately ended up losing by double digits. So The Spurs were able to bounce back, and it was all led by their defense. They forced 20 turnovers by OKC, which led to 23 points off of those turnovers, which is a lot of points. Also, I feel like they were just more aggressive than OKC, not just offensively, but not just defensively, but offensively as well. They were able to force 32 free throw attempts, which they shot 24 from 32, and OKC only had 18 attempts. They did make 16 of those, but when you lose the free throw battle, the team that you're playing against shoots almost double the amount of free throws, says a lot about your physicality. So the Spurs were the more physical team. They were the more dominant team. I'll give them that. They came out with a lot of energy. Guys were flying around, and they were able to secure the dub. You know, Wemby led the way. Another 30-point game by Wemby. He had 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, which was really good. You know, last game, he spoke on getting his guys involved a lot more. He said he has to be a better leader. He had to help get his guys involved a little bit. He had to do better, not just for himself, but for his teammates. So seeing those 5 assists is very encouraging. He also had 2 steals and 3 blocks. We know what he is on defense. The dude is probably going to go down as the greatest defender to ever play this game, just because of his length and his ability to just move around the court. He has a good second jump, so he will miss a shot and he getting right back up and just getting a rebound, putting it back in. So he has the crazy size advantage, and OKC, they don't really have a guy that can match up. Chet, at times, he lives up and he plays good defense. Hartenstein, he's out there getting physical with him, grabbing them, making it harder as possible that, you know, for Wemby, even though, you know, a lot of guys complain about, you know, it's dirty, this and that. This is basketball, man. You know, when you're just the biggest guy out there, you're going to get grabbed. You're going to get pulled. Look at how LeBron got treated. Look at how Shaq got treated. You feel me? Even if you watch when Dwight Howard played, they was grabbing on Dwight Howard and everything. So, of course, you're going to get that. Now, what makes you great is playing through that, getting through that. I mean, look what Jordan went through. They had a Jordan rule. When he went to the basket, you knock him down. And Jordan was able to fight through that. So, if Wemby going to be great, which I do have faith in him being great because I like his competitiveness, and I think he's surrounded by good people with that organization, I think he's definitely going to be able to overcome a lot of this. But I'm not sure if it's going to be this year. I think right now it's OKC time. How you doing, Albert? Appreciate you for being on. Shout out to my boy Tomo. Team Tomo tapping in. I told y'all, Archwell Day. That's my captain right there. I'm number 1 pick. I'm Wemby, number 1 pick. You feel me? We're going to get it done. This series is living up to what we expected it to be. Yes, it is, Tomo. We have the number 1, number 2 seed in the West, which they say is the best. And they're going at it. 2 defensive teams that when you watch the games, it's just high-level basketball being played out there. From guys hitting tough shots, from guys hustling back on defense and just giving that little extra effort and causing guys to miss layups and just hustling. Like, you love to see that as a basketball fan. You know, then you're going to look at – we're going to talk about that after this. We're going to talk about that after this. Believe that. But this series is everything that we want to see. Now, I want to point out a couple of things that I thought were the reasons why OKC lost. Now, the biggest reason were the turnovers. Now, we see how they playing SGA. They're not giving him no breathing room. This dude he's also out there getting grabbed, getting pushed, getting clipped up, all types of stuff. And what hurt them this game, I felt like, was they didn't have another ball handler to really help relieve that. Now, Jeremy McCain can handle the ball, but he's more of a scorer. He's not a guy that sets guys up. You see him really, he's running around. He'll catch the ball. He'll probably cut, stab. Like, he's not a guy that's coming down, setting up the offense, you know. He has the ability to handle the rock, but he's not out there setting the offense up. They had to rely a lot on Isaiah Hartenstein getting the ball with his back to the basket, trying to set guys up because he's not facing up doing enough. He's turning his body, getting the defender on the other side, which opens up the back, which you saw. I think that was Stephon Castle that came through and plucked him from behind, got an easy layup. So I think without having a J-Dub and AJ Mitchell last game was out, really, really hurt this OKC team because SGA really was their only true ball handler out there, and it showed. The OKC Thunder was jumping all over them guys, man. And then another thing, they shot terribly from the three. Now, I can't blame them and say that's the main reason why they lost because so did the Spurs. The Spurs did not have a good game shooting the three. The Spurs went 9 from 33, and OKC went 6 from 33. 18% compared to 27%. So they both shot pretty bad. But if you look at the last game, what really helps propel this team is when SGA is getting double and he's trying to get downhill and guys are collapsing on him, he's able to kick it out to guys and they were knocking down threes. Last game, Jalen Williams went crazy. He went crazy. Hit about 5 threes. McCain hit about 4 threes. If you look at this game, Jalen Williams 1 from 7 from 3. Every shot he shot was a 3-pointer. He went 1 from 7 from 3. Jared McCain, who had a terrible game. Only 4 points. He went 1 from 10 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. That is unacceptable. One thing that was very mysterious to me was Alex Caruso only played 14 minutes, and he only took 1 shot all game. And he's really been their unsung hero throughout this series so far. And I thought that was very uncharacteristic of not just him, but just of this OKC team. Like, how is Caruso not out there and he's not involved? He was not in foul trouble. He had 4 fouls, which you got 2 more fouls, my boy. What's up? So I'm not sure what happened. Now, a lot of people keep bringing up this SGA thing about him flopping and falling. Listen, guys. These dudes are playing this man up tight, so tight. Even that shot with Fox, people say, man, Fox didn't even touch him. Fox was so close into his space. The safest thing to do is to fall and not try to land because you can land right on this guy Fox's foot. You know, I think a lot of the falling with the jumpers is a safety precaution for SGA because a lot of times you see guys get injured from guys walking into their landing zone. And a lot of times they're that close to him because he shoots the ball at an unpredictable moment that he has to fall down at times. Now, some of the falling, like I think it was game 2, he shot a 3 up top and failed and got the ball back. I'm like, all right, listen. Some of it, he can dial it back a little bit. But that's the NBA that we're in. I mean, even guys like Paul Pierce, Kobe, KD had a whole thing where he was just drawing fouls when guys had their hand on him, and he'll just swing through and draw the foul. I mean, people call Harden the best scorer ever when he had them 30-point win streaks, and he was living on the free throw line. And he was literally going to the basket doing this, just trying to draw fouls. So I don't really want to hear it no more, really, when it comes to SGA. I just don't want to hear it no more. Like, great players are great. He's the first guard since Jordan to average 30 and shoot over 50% for 4 seasons straight. He's not doing that off of straight free throws. And to be quite frank, the Spurs shoot more free throws than them. I see the Spurs players arguing more with the refs than I see OKC. It was one possession when Wemby was being grabbed by his arm, but he pointed at the ref like, look. Like, we don't want to hear that. Like, I don't want, like I saw a post when they put up the stats of SGA and they had to include his free throws. But they put Wemby stats, Castle stats. No free throws were included. When they shot almost the same amount of free throws as SGA. So when you drive the ball at a high rate like Castle, he's a very aggressive player as well. He's going to get foul calls, just like SGA. He know how to use his body. He know how to, and guys can't guard him. He's what's the word? Crafty. Like, he can finish with both hands and do a lot out there. So it's hard to guard him. So I don't want to hear that. Okay, I don't want to hear none of that. So don't bring that to Vaughn. All right, Vaughn ain't hearing it. But tonight is a pivotal game. I think J-Dub is back tonight. AJ Mitchell is not playing. We're going to see. Shout out to my boy Dave. Check out his show, Dawg's Dave House. Say I'm speaking facts about SGA. Listen, that's all I try to do, man. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? But I try not to be biased, but you know what I'm saying? But tonight is pivotal. Tonight is very pivotal. Will OKC bounce back? Because right now, we're back at square one. You feel me? First, Spurs stole home court advantage. OKC took it back. Now, OKC have to defend home court tonight. Because if they don't, they're in jeopardy of losing the series in San Antonio on that game. Because it's going to be tough to beat this team in San Antonio, especially if they're not fully healthy. But if J does play tonight and he's playing a full game, I got OKC getting this. I don't think, I think, like I said, not having another ball handler out there to help relieve SGA, it really allowed the Spurs to key in on just him. And a lot of those guys, they're not going to do a lot of dribbling to create. They're trying to swing the ball past, and that allows you to be able to jump a lot of those passes. Like, it was plenty of times when I felt like OKC player could have got downhill and got a bucket or did something, but they were trying to swing it and not allow the Spurs to just jump the pass. Check this. That's what you need to do. Because what you're doing out there, to ask SGA, what can they do to help get him more involved? It ain't what they could do. It's what he can do. Be more aggressive, bro. Even when Wemby at the basket, you got to pump fake sometimes. Get into his body. You got to do something, bro. You got to go up hard. I'm tired of this. Now, if Chet was the player he's supposed to be, they say he's supposed to be number one that year, but that was my boy Paulo. If Paulo was out there, come on, man. Now, he ain't the rim protector that Chet is, but he going at Wemby. Putting that body on Wemby. He's bigger, don't get me wrong. Pause. But Chet just got to play with a little more force. He got to be more aggressive. Even if you don't get into the basket, they don't got Wemby checking you all the time, bro. You got shorter guards checking you. Shoot over them. What are we doing? You leaving my boy out there to dry. So Chet had to step his game up. But how you doing, Manuel? But shout out, I agree with Dave. He playing soft as hell. Soft. Boy got Similac behind his ear still. That boy, baby boy out there. Need to grow up. We need you. Them boys need you out there. So we want to see Chet step up. We want to see that match. We want to see him rise to the occasion because Wemby is doing his thing, man. I got to give him his props. Last game, I got on him because he wasn't as aggressive. Only had 4 rebounds. Like, come on, bro. You should never have no less than 8 rebounds in the game, in my opinion. I think you should at least have 8. And that's a light night. Because last night, I think you had 8. Yeah, you had 8. And that's a light night. So, we're going to see what happens tonight, man. I do think OKC can bounce back if we get a healthy J-Dub out there. But if J-Dub got to lead a game, mid-game, Caruso only playing 14 minutes, I mean, they're not going to win. You need Caruso out there at least 20-something minutes to have a shot against this team because he matches the energy that a lot of these guys match. Shout out to Vassell, Sean Penny. Sean Penny's shot is not falling, but defensively, I got to give him his props. He out there playing hard on defense, blocking shots, and same for Vassell. Vassell, I've been a fan of Vassell before they got Wemby. I remember it was only him and Keldon Johnson at one point, and he showed that he can play some ball. But defensively, he's shown me a lot. He's a pretty good defensive player. So shout out to them. Dylan Harper, since De'Aaron Fox been back, hasn't really found his way. He's been, since that first game, he hasn't really been doing much. But he's still out there making plays. He's still out there playing solid defense on SGA. I give him that as well. So this game tonight is going to be very, very critical to see who will win this series. Because if OKC win this game, and it depends on how they win this game, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in San Antonio. So the game comes on tonight. I believe it's at 8:30. Most of them games on that side is 8:30. Yeah, 8:30 on Peacock. Make sure y'all check it out. All right, let's go to the next topic. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. Appreciate all y'all. We're going to move on to the next topic, though. And we're going to talk about the WNBA for a second. We're going to talk about my girl, Azzi Fudd. Shout out to somebody on TikTok. I've been saying her name wrong, and that's my apology. I do not listen to the games when I watch them. I don't. I listen. I don't want to hear what they got to say. I like to watch, and I do my thing that way. But Azzi Fudd, number 1 pick for the Dallas Wings. Don't worry, y'all. Y'all know I'm a Mystic fan. I got a lot to say about my girls, too. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all. But let's talk about Azzi right quick. Azzi Fudd, there was a lot of commotion when she got drafted by the Wing. Her and Paige came out and spoke on their relationship. People thought that was the reason why she was drafted there. And the first game, she didn't really play much. She didn't get that many shots up. And it's like, what's going on? Did they really just draft her for that reason? But you look at it and you say, it's a good. I felt like it was a good fit. She's a shooter. She's a bucket. Like, I think she got one of the best dribble pull-ups in the league. I mean, from males and females, like her one dribble pull-up is pretty crazy, pretty elite, I must say. But she just had a breakout game against the New York Liberty, one of the top teams in the association. And the thing about it is they just got back their girl, Sabrina. Sabrina just came back this last game. And what happened? Dallas Wing ended up winning by 15 points. And AZ goes to 24 points, 9 from 15 from the field, 6 from 12 from the three-point line. I told y'all she is a sniper. That's the number one thing that she brings to this team. And when you got two bucket getters, that's the perfect fit. That's the perfect person to have right beside them. And she ended up playing 32 minutes this game. She also chipped in 3 steals and 2 blocks. That's another thing I think is underrated about her game. She's a pretty good defender. She got pretty good size. It was a play, my girl Georgia for my Mystics. She was trying to push her off the spot, and she just looked at her like, "What you doing? You can't even move me." She got some good size on her, so I really like her game. I think she's gonna be a really good player in this league for a while because her jumper is just butter, and I think she's only gonna get better. Her ball handling will get better, but that one dribble pull up from AZ, hey, she like that with that. She taking it from A to Z. That's the whole alphabet. Wop wop squish. That's what she do. So shout out to AZ. I just wanted to give her some love very quick, man, because a lot of people was trying to kill them for drafting her first round pick, but she's starting to show why they drafted her. That jumper is very pure, one of a kind. She's one of the better shooters in the league already, and she has a quick release. I'm telling y'all, go look at her dribble pull up. She probably got better. She got better dribble pull-ups than a lot of people in the NBA. Like, her dribble pull-up is legit. She one dribble right in your face. She don't waste movement. She don't do too much with the ball. And I love the fact that she plays hard on defense. 3 steals and 2 blocks. You can't sneeze at that. Shout out to AZ, man. Shout out to the Dallas Wings. Paige also had a decent game as well. I'll give her a shout out. 24 points. She had 7 from 13 from the field, 2 from 4 from the three-point line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And they got the dub, man. So shout out to them for sure. Shout out to my boy Dave. Need you to give Trinity Carter some love. She a dog. Hey, listen, I love me some Trinity. You hear me? And that's a cheat code that the Aces was able to get her. And she coming off the bench with Jewel Lloyd. Like, come on now. How they let that happen? The Aces just might repeat, to be quite honest. They got the best player in the league and the best bench player in the league. Like, whoo. Trust me, it's going to be a lot more WNBA content coming soon. We're just scratching the surface. All right, let's go to the last topic. Appreciate everybody that's in the comments. We have, it's always a pleasure just to see people active in the comments. If it's just 4 people, 2 people, 1 person. It's just a beautiful thing. I really appreciate it. We got one more topic to talk about. If they disagree, bro, they might win it all again with her coming off the bench. The Aces be cheating. That's that Vegas. They in Vegas. That's that Vegas for you. Becky Hammond. Speaking of Becky, she had something to say about a player a couple years ago, I believe. And she said that this player is too small to be a 1A on a winning team. I don't know if he can get to the finals. You know what I'm saying? If he's your 1A, do you put him in the same class as Giannis and all this and that? And she was talking about my boy Jalen Brunson. But we're going to talk about how the Knicks just swept their way to the finals. They swept the Cavs, and now they are sitting in the finals. First time in a long time. Since 1999 to be exact, when they lost to Tim Duncan and them boys. Shout out to the Knicks, man. You got to give them their props. Shout out Mike Brown. He was able to unlock Cat. A lot of people thought Cat should have been playing more as a big, imposing, forceful but he's actually using his skill a little bit more. He's opening up the floor, allowing him to pass, allowing him to be on the perimeter, allowing guys like Mikal Bridges, Anobi, to just roam free and get easy looks. Josh Hart is really truly playing the position he can play. And the biggest reason is because Jalen Brunson does not have to dominate the ball ever again. He does not have to dominate the ball again because of the offense. And it's unlocked everybody. And that's basketball. I'm going to keep saying that. That is basketball. You have to be able to do that. And it's a shame. OKC can't do that with Shaq. It's a shame, I must say. Like, it when I watch him, it don't look like he's trying to be involved, bro. It looks like he just out there. And that as a top pick, number 2 overall. Number 2. That's trash. But the Knicks beat this team by a combined points of 77. They beat them by 11 first game, 16 the second game, 13 the next game. Then they just beat them by 37 last night. Trash. Dave said, shout out to Playoff Harden. Man, one thing about the Cavaliers is I felt like the coaching was not that good. I feel like when you're in certain players gonna play, certain players not gonna play. You feel what I'm saying? Sam Merrill, this wasn't his series. I'm sorry. Sam Merrill should have been benched. I'm sorry. He wasn't hitting nothing. He went 0 for 7 one game. Wide open, easy looks. I thought Tyson should have got a little bit more burn out there. You need a little bit more grittiness. You need guys that's going to bump out there. And not saying Sam Merrill don't bump, but offensively, when he's not hitting his threes, what is he doing? Is he out there banging down low, getting rebounds? You know, is he down there defending? Is he out there defending? No, he's not. All he's doing is out there trying to shoot threes. So, shout out to the Knicks because they just exposed the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell, you know, shout out to Joe. He said in the chat, like, you know, Donovan Mitchell just, you know, he can't stop the bleeding. And I felt like, you know, he stopped being aggressive. That first game, when they was up and then they got walked down by them 22 points, I felt like Donovan Mitchell was in control of that game first 3 quarters. He was literally dominating, like dogging, getting to where he wanted to get to, attacking the rim, you know, getting guys open. He was doing a little bit of everything out there. But he took his foot off the gas and he didn't attack as much. He started letting James Harden bring the ball down and try to create. Started letting guys like Sam Merrill and Evan Mobley try to do 2-man game. Like, what are you doing? Put the nail in the coffin. Once they lost that 22-point lead, you can tell it was a wrap. You got that coach saying, analytically, we won 2 games. No. If you look at the score, which are the analytics, the box score, y'all lost. What are you talking about? So I thought that the coaching was bad. Even during that 22-point run that first game, he didn't call timeout or nothing. He had Harden out there. They attacked Harden back to back to back to back. Timeout, Harden. Sorry, bro. You got to sit. Sit down. Donovan, you got to take us home offensively. We're going to put in Keon. We're going to put in Jalen Tyson. And we're going to try to win this with our defense. That's what you're supposed to. You got to adjust. And he did not make the necessary adjustments, in my opinion. But I think this Knicks team, you know, I felt like the Cavs were going to test them. But, you know, they tested on that first game. And then once they got past that test, it was a wrap. But this next series is definitely going to be a test for them. You know, this is going to be the best defense that they're going to face the whole playoffs if they got to see the Spurs or the OKC Thunder. So we're really going to see. Shout out to my boy Cardo again, Lil Cardo. He said that, you know, he want to see them play a better defensive team as well. You know, this offense clicking on all cylinders, but he want to see them play a top defense. He want to see Brunson dominate against a top defense. And I agree. I think Brunson, he cool. He not the one you're going to have to worry about. But with this offense, the way it's looking, I think they can compete with either one of those teams. I got to give a shout out to Mikal Bridges, averaging 18 points, shooting over 50% for the whole series. I was a big critic of this man. I felt like, you know, he was not giving them what they needed throughout the season, even in the playoffs previously, because He's a really good two-way player, and he just was not bringing that for this team in the previous years. But during this run, I must say he has definitely proved me wrong, and he definitely has stepped up to the plate. And to be honest, he been shooting over 60. He had shot 60-something% one game and over 70% the other two games. And only dropped to 57 because last game he ain't shoot that well. He only shot like 25%. But shame on the Cavs for just not having no energy, like lackluster energy. It's just something you just like. It's boring. It's not competitive. You know, you go from watching OKC and scrapping to this. Even when they was down, when they had to put the bench players, and they still was out there scrapping. They was bricking. Don't get me wrong, but they was scrapping. But you ain't see this. You ain't see that with the Cavaliers at all. You saw Donovan Mitchell yelling at everybody on the sideline, but there was nothing to show for out there on the court. So, hey, see you later, Cavs. Shout out to the Knicks again, man. I'm happy for the Knicks Nation, city of New York. Hey, hopefully y'all don't go too crazy, man. Don't know why I need to be getting locked up, getting beat up and all that. Y'all just need to celebrate and, you know what I'm saying, be grateful because it ain't over yet. Still got to win in the finals. You feel me? But that's all I got for y'all today, man. I want to thank everybody that was tuned in with your boy. You know, make sure you like, subscribe. You share this with anybody that's an NBA fan, basketball fan, WNBA fan, just a ball fan. Also, download link to become a member is right down low. Become a member with the network. You will not be disappointed. Have a lot of live debates. I think that's the number one perk, really, is you get to go at it and talk your trash about your team. You know, you get to congratulate teams. You get to, you get live updates before ESPN even pop up. Like if you don't got the ESPN app, you good. Or you don't got a Bleacher Report, you good. If you in the chats, you're gonna get it all. And you also, it's just a good time with the fellas. We have a parlay chat, we got a gaming chat. It's not just about sports. We're kind of building a family here. And this is a good thing to be a part of. So make sure y'all lock in on that. Also, tune in to all the different shows down low. They're all locked in the description. You will not be disappointed. Everybody does a really good job at speaking their knowledge. And, it's just good to learn. Like me, I've been keeping tabs on the inner red corner. I've been trying to learn a little bit more about my boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to Ricky, Ty, and my boy Tomo. They be holding it down. So definitely lock in and tap in with all the shows, man. But you know what your boy gonna do. I'm gonna watch this game tonight, and we gonna see what happens. But we know one thing that's gonna happen. And that's them real ballers. They're gonna ball.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.